The Maimer that we're going to begin to learn now starts with the words Vayomer lo Yehoina san machar Chodesh. Said in the Haftarah of Erev Rosh Chodesh, that year Tafshin Yud Aleph, Shabbos Mevarchim Iyer was on Erev Rosh Chodesh. Now, first of all, this Maimer is a hemshech. It's a continuation to the previous Maimer, the Maimer of Achron Shel Pesach, Ve'enuf Yodei Lanar that we just learned. A hemshech means it's a new Maimer, but it's continuing on the concepts that were described and explained in the Maimer of Achron Shel Pesach. In general, by the Rebbe, very often, Shabbos Mevarchim, Iyer, the Shabbos after Achron Shel Pesach, was seen as a type of continuation to Achron Shel Pesach, to complete whatever was missing or lacking or the like. In this case, it's the Maimer which continues to explain the idea of Mashiach. It starts with the words Vayomer lo Yehoina san machar Chodesh. We read it on Erev Rosh Chodesh, when Erev Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbos. And the Rebbe explains in various places that even Erev Rosh Chodesh, when it's not on Shabbos, every month there's an Erev Rosh Chodesh, there's a day before Rosh Chodesh. It's only that when it's on Shabbos, then we're able to say Haftarah. But the concept applies to every Erev Rosh Chodesh. And the question that the Rebbe is asking is, how does this apply the idea of Vayomer lo Yehoina san to Erev Rosh Chodesh? What's its connection to Erev Rosh Chodesh? In other words, let's just go back to explain what the Haftarah is about. It's the story of David HaMelech. When David HaMelech wants to know how bad Shaul's wish to kill him is Shaul totally intent on killing him, or is it just at certain times that Shaul was upset and wanted to kill him? And the question was, should he run away, should he escape, or not? This was basically the question that Yohanan and Shaul, Yohanan the son of Shaul, and David HaMelech were discussing. And they decided to make a plan where David will go hide, and Yonasan will sort of test Shaul to see if he's really intent on killing David, and then he'll make a sign to show David what's happening. And that was the story that Yonasan told him. Tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, and in those days on Rosh Chodesh, in the royal palace, they would make a very special party, a special suda. Everyone was present. All the people in the court were present by this suda. And David's place would have been on next to Shaul, being the king's son-in-law. And so Yonasan says, go hide, v'nifkadeta. Shaul will remember about you. He'll be forced to remember about you because he'll notice that your place is empty. And once he notices your place is empty, let's see how he reacts to it. And sure enough, it was the first day, the first meal of Rosh Chodesh, the second meal of Rosh Chodesh, that was night of Rosh Chodesh, and later by day of Rosh Chodesh, that Shaul says to Yonasan, where is David? And he tells him that he had asked permission to go, he has a family meal. And that's when Shaul displays his anger and his intention of killing David. Now, they had made up a sign of how they will show whether or not Shaul is angry. And the sign was that afterwards, Yonasan would come with his servant boy. And he would come shoot arrows. And if he said, and in the place where David was hiding, a specific place that they had made up, and if he says if he says to his servant boy, the arrows are far, far away, that's a sign that David should run away. And if he says here, they're right here, it's a sign that he doesn't have to run away. Now, the question that we have is a few questions on this concept. First of all, on the general Haftarah. It happens to be this story happened on the day before Rosh Chodesh, that Yonasan tells him to do this. In fact, the rest of the story was on Rosh Chodesh itself. It wasn't even on the day before Rosh Chodesh. Just because the first pasuk says tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh, What's the connection with the whole story to the day before Rosh Chodesh, to the extent, as we said before, that it's connected to every Erev Rosh Chodesh? And to the extent also that in Halacha we know that the Haftarah is supposed to be Me'ena Parsha, it's supposed to be similar to the Parsha. Not only that, but similar to the end of the Parsha. And that's why, when it's, for example, Shabbos Rosh Chodesh or Shabbos Chanukah, we will read the last thing that we read in the Parsha, the last thing that we read in the Torah from Haftarah. That's what the Haftarah is going to be about. Here we read this every Erev Rosh Chodesh, regardless of what the Parsha is, which means we're giving up on the importance of the Haftarah being similar to the Parsha. Instead, reading this Haftarah, that means that there's a very strong connection between this Haftarah and Erev Rosh Chodesh to the extent that it overrides the halacha of reading Haftarah similar to the Parsha. What's the strong connection between this whole story just because the first words is Machar Chodesh? And then in the story itself, why did they make a sign with the bow and arrow, etc.? In the end, it says that David came out and Yonasan told him directly. Why is this sign that they made so important? Why with arrows? There must be something deeper in this whole idea of the bow and arrow, of which the sign was. Which basically means, and what Chassidus is telling us, is that there's obviously a much deeper meaning in this story, a meaning which is connected to the general idea of Erev Rosh Chodesh. So let's look a little bit, and this is something which we're going to come back to at the end of the Maimar. First we're going to explain and continue to explain the concepts explained in the last Maimar about Mashiach. But let's us look a little bit first at the general concept of Erev Rosh Chodesh. What does it mean, Rosh Chodesh? What's the meaning of Rosh Chodesh? Or more specifically, the words that are used in Haftarah is Machar Chodesh. Chodesh means, the word Chodesh means a renewal. The difference between Shana and Chodesh, Shana is from the word Mishneh. It copies itself. Every year, we go through the same cycle as the year before. On a higher level, etc., but the cycle is the same. Chodesh is Chidush, a renewal. Every month is different. Every month has a first day, every month has a second day, but that's as far as the connection goes. You can't compare Beis Nisan to Beis Iyar. It's two different days, two totally different ideas. Tezvav Nisan and Tezvav Iyar. Tezvav Nisan is Pesach, Tezvav Iyar is Pesach Sheni, Tezvav Sivan is the 15th of Sivan, is not a Yom Tov. Every month, although we go through the cycle of 30 days, or 29 of 30 or 29 days, but the idea of it is what happens in those days, and the meaning of those days is different. That's why Chodesh is Chidush. It's a renewal. The renewal is based on the moon. The moon that disappears the day before, and the next day it's reborn. Now the moon never disappears and the moon is never reborn. The moon is always there. But the question is the light, the revelation, the ability to see the moon. This ability to see the moon is the concept of the ability to see godliness within our physical world, which is a hidden world. A world where godliness is hidden, the ability to cause godliness to be revealed and seen within our physical world itself. That's Chodesh, that's a renewal, and that's the greatest renewal. And in fact, that's the full and complete idea of the renewal that will be with the coming of Mashiach, when V'rochol Basar Yachtav, the physical world itself, the flesh of the physical world will be able to see and perceive godliness. When we talk about Machar Chodesh means the ability, the power, the strength that's being given in order that tomorrow meaning after, as a result of this power, they'll be able to be a Chodesh, a renewal, even though now it's a concealment. Now it's hidden. Now we don't see godliness. Now the world hides over that reality. We're sitting in a time when we don't see it. In a time when godliness is hidden and we say, Machar Chodesh. We're now doing something. We're now dealing with the power and the light and the strength that will enable us to have Machar, tomorrow, Chodesh, to get this renewal. And that's what's special about Erev Rosh Chodesh, every Erev Rosh Chodesh. It's the power for the Rosh Chodesh. But Rosh Chodesh is when there's a shine, there's a light. The light comes, the light starts. He gives strength. Machar Chodesh, that's what we deal with more. We're in a galus. We're in a place and time and situation where we don't see the godliness within the world. And yet there's something that we can do in the world which brings Machar Chodesh. And essentially, what Chassidus explains, and that's something which we'll Mitzvah Hashem get to towards the end of the Maimer, is that the whole story and the sign that Yonasan gave David, etc., are all things that are the power that show this power that there is to refine and elevate the physical world until causing it and making it shine. And this is in fact the connection, not just with the general idea of Erev Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Chodesh, but specifically with Rosh Chodesh Iyar. The month before Iyar is Nisan. Nisan is a time of miracles. Nisei Nisim. Nisan is the time of Pesach. We're above the world. Nigla Aleim Melech Malchi Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Godliness is revealed to us. We're connected to the very essence of godliness. Nisan gives the power, and especially Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar, which is still the last day of Nisan. That gives us the power for Iyar, for Machar Chodesh, for the renewal of Iyar. Iyar specifically is a month that's connected with that renewal, but that renewal in which we're still dealing with the physical world and bringing it to its completion, bringing it to its shine, to be able to transform it so that we can reveal godliness in it and come to the third month, which is Sivan, when godliness is revealed within the world, which is the idea of bringing us to the time of Mashiach. That's Iyar. That's the month of Iyar and Erev Rosh Chodesh Iyar, and specifically the beginning and the whole concept of the month of Iyar. Sfira So'emer, when we take our animal soul and we work with it and we shine and we reveal the shine in it. What's this whole idea? This is called Avodas HaBirurim. The Avodah of Birurim, and something which we'll learn in the end of the Maimer. That's what the idea of a bow and arrow. You pull back in order to shoot further. You pull back in order to shoot further. You bring down and you reveal down in our world. You refine it. We show what it's all about, the reality of godliness that it's all about. And that's why, in order to understand this whole idea of Machar Chodesh, in order to understand Machar Chodesh, in order to understand Chodesh, in order to understand Iyar, in order to understand how we refine and how we elevate and reveal the godliness within the world, we begin by explaining and continuing with what we learned in the last Maimer, that Mashiach is the Etzem. Mashiach is the essence. Mashiach is like the idea of Reach. The way Mashiach judges is not by looking at what someone did, but by looking at what brought him to do it. He's not looking at the actions that are the outer essence. He's looking at his very essence of the person. And in this way, Mashiach also brings every single person to tshuva, because he brings a person back, regardless of no matter who the person is, he brings them back to their true essence of who they really are. That's the idea that we said Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, despite everything that he did, he said, my essence, I'm not sure where it is, my essence could be in the depths of Klippas. Who knows what's happening with my essence? Mashiach brings a person not just to act and to outwardly be connected to Hashem, but he brings the essence, and through that the essence of the world, revealing what it really is and revealing its connection to Hashem, as we will, Be'ezras Hashem, continue to explain next time.